on the Northwest Annexation A, that's ordinance
2012-5. And there are going to be two public hearings convened tonight. He's just opened the public hearing on the one that's north and west of town. It's the one that goes out to 41, then up to the north side of town and back. When everybody's had a chance to speak on that one, that public hearing will close. Then he will open and close the public hearing on the one that is south of town, which is 2012-4. Before we start, let me go over what this is and what this isn't, so that you all kind of can know that. You will all have the opportunity to come, speak, address the council, and tell them your feelings about the ordinance. If you happen to get up and speak about the wrong ordinance, don't worry about it. You know, if you come during, if you get up and go, oh, I should have gone during the north and west, and I'm actually in the south, don't worry about that. They're going to hear your comments anyway. But there will be two public hearings. We are not putting, at this point, time limits on how long you have to speak. If it becomes an issue, if someone gets up here and is taking an extended period of time, that might change at the discretion of the council. But at this time, there is no official time limit on how long you have to speak. I do ask you only speak once. So when you come up, say your piece, and sit down. Say your name and your address before you address the council. This is not a debate. It's not a question and answer session. It is for us to hear from you. Now, if you happen to have questions, they're not going to answer them during the time that you're up here speaking. We'll write them down. And if we can answer them tonight at the conclusion of the public hearing, I'll do my best to answer your questions. If we are unable to answer your question, in your public hearing notice there was information concerning who to contact. I believe it was the mayor at City Hall concerning any specific questions. There's a phone number in there as well concerning any specific questions that you may have. That's another opportunity for you to get your questions answered. And so, you know, as I said, this is not going, you're not going to see a lot of dialogue. It's not going to be you come up and speak and the council answer you and engage in debate like that. That is not the purpose of this evening. The purpose of this evening is to hear from you. That is what we're here to do, and so that's why we hold public hearings. It is a part in the statutory process. Once the public hearing closes, the council, there's a stand-down period where the council cannot act on this ordinance, on either of the ordinances, for at least 30 days after tonight. They have to act on the ordinance if they're going to within 60 days of tonight. So there's a window from 30 to 60 days following tonight that if the council chooses to proceed, it must proceed during that window. With that, what I would ask is you can come up orderly. I don't know if we want to form a line over there. Come up one at a time. Say your name, your address. Say what you've got to say, and let the next person speak. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Bodine, where do you want to be? Wherever you want to be. That's fine.
My name is John Bodine. I live at 426 West Thompson Street. I've lived here for about 20 years. Never expected to wind up in Sullivan, but that's where I wound up. This should be a no-brainer. I'm going to be as short as I can for an attorney. But I point out that you folks represent the city of Sullivan. You represent the residents of the city of Sullivan. You don't represent the town of Greenbrier. You don't represent the Sullivan Bypass. You represent the residents of the city of Sullivan. They are the ones who pay your salary. They are the ones that provide your benefits. They are the ones that elected you to your office. Your obligation is to those people. Your obligation is to do what is best for the residents of the city of Sullivan, not anybody else. Now, that being said, that's why I said this is a no-brainer. But, you know, somebody once wiser than me said that if you don't grow, you die. And as much as I enjoy Sullivan, and I do, that's what I've seen for the past 20 years. And actually, I've been coming here for about 45 years. When I first met my wife, she lived here. So I've been coming here for 45 years. And all I've seen for 45 years is this community. When I say the community, I don't mean just the city. I mean the city and the county. I've seen it gradually die. It's a death by 1,000 cuts. It's not one big thing. It's 1,000 cuts. And the principal reason is that Sullivan, and when I'm in favor of Sullivan. I'm not in favor of Sullivan City, Sullivan County. I view Sullivan as an entire community consisting of the city and the county. And what's good for one is good for the other. The county is not going to prosper unless the city prospers. And I'm sorry, but what I've observed in 20 years is that Sullivan, as a community, never supports Sullivan. It never supports the people of Sullivan. Case in point. I'll address that in a little bit. But, you're always, this community, this county, this city is always working at cross purposes. It's always, what's good for me? And quite frankly, to hell with everybody else. You've never worked together. In my opinion, in 20 years of living here, I have never seen this community work together on a single thing. You're always at cross purposes. You put two horses on lines, hook them up to a plow. One's going to go left, one's going to go right. You aren't going to go anywhere. You put them in harness, and they can accomplish something. But Sullivan never understands that because we're all so busy doing that which is good for us. And we talk a good story. Everyone bemoans the fate of Sullivan, but nobody does anything about it. And when you have a chance to do it, the only thing you're concerned about is yourselves and your pocketbook. There are people that I know that have really tried hard to improve this community, who have really tried hard, who've gone out in the cold, in the freezing, in the wet weather to try to beautify this community, to try to make something nice for the downtown. You know how much help those people have gotten? None. They've done it themselves because everybody talks a good story and nobody will help. And help involves a little bit of sacrifice. You have to sacrifice a little bit of your time. Maybe you have to sacrifice a little bit of your money. But that's what working together is all about. Someday, I hope I live long enough to see this community work together. 20 years tells me it ain't going to happen. But I hope it will. And this is an opportunity to do that. But all of this remonstrance is why this community never grows. Because it is short-sighted. I mean, I sat in a similar discussion a couple years ago when they eliminated the boundary outside the city. Stupidest thing the city has ever done. Except one. The first stupidest thing they will ever have done is not to pass this ordinance. Because this ordinance does nothing but benefit the people of the city of Sullivan. And I made this same argument at the time of that hearing, and it fell on deaf ears. And how much have we gained from that? We gained nothing, and we never will. Because the people who vote are more concerned about the people that live outside the city than they do the city. I don't understand it. If you want to represent the county, move out to the county and run for office there. You represent the city, and for once, do something that's right for the city. Do something that's right for the community as a whole, because if the city doesn't prosper, the county cannot in any way, shape, or form prosper. This is about the last time you're going to see me in front of this council, or any council, until Sullivan starts supporting Sullivan. And that means hiring Sullivan people to do jobs, rather than hiring outside people. Thank you.
Okay, next. Anybody else?
My name John Byard, and I'm from the 458 300 North, the first house on the road behind the gathering place. I don't see Marty and her husband here. Are they here?
It's my daughter.
We represent the first horn that's on the map. And there's only myself and my wife, Brother Fusco and his wife, and Marty in the gathering place. Now I know why this expansion is being done, is that the politicians in town can't stand the apple on the tree, which is the hospital. The hospital already charges an enormous amount of nearly $1,000 to walk through the door, unless you get lucky enough to get into the emergency room. Now, if you go taxing the hospital like you want to, you're going to drive that first bunch of money up to $2,000 or $3,000, maybe $5,000. We'll have a hospital that nobody can go to, and a bunch of doctors that can't make any money. And what will we get out of it way out there that we don't already get? We have mail. We have a little bit of fire protection from the fire hydrant at the gathering place, and the lake that Fusco and I enjoy getting protection from. We don't have any trash pickup. I use the gathering place and help pay for their trash dumpster. So how would it benefit us to be part of the city, other than to vote once in a while? That's all.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Dugan?
My name's Mike Dugan. I live out at 1059 Sunset Drive in Greenbrier. I grew up here in Sullivan, left here when I was 21, came back in 2003, which was 57 then. And so, before I start, I want to say to Mr. Bodine, I respect him a lot, but and he's saying that these people are representing the city, and they are, and he's exactly right about that, but they're making decisions for about 15 other thousand people that live in this county, because everyone in this, I mean, not just the Southwest School Corporation, they're making decisions that's going to affect these other people because of this situation I'm going to talk about in a little bit, about the taxes that they lose for the different parts of government. We've got three points to make. The city's claiming that the people in Hamilton Township are being subsidized for their fire protection by the city residents. Well, I'm not doubting that that is not some truth to that, and I told them that at the very beginning. The position I take is that they're not going about solving this problem the correct way. Annexation is not really a solution to this problem. They should restructure their fire department, or they should do a different deal like a township fire department or something like that, instead of the city just trying to support it with a contract with Hamilton Township. I looked it up on the computer this morning. There is like by the newest census, the city of Sullivan has 4,249 people in it. Hamilton Township has 6,869 people. The city then is planning to solve this problem, this discrepancy of this payment that they're not getting for the fire department, and I want them to solve that problem. I'm not saying that that's not a problem at all, but they're picking out 300 people out of 2,620 people that they're wanting to tax to solve this problem. I don't even know if that's something you're allowed to do. A government entity picking out a subgroup of a big group and taxing that group to solve a problem for one of their departments in town. I think that somebody needs to look at that. And that is one of the claims that you're making for this annexation. Second point that I want to make, they advertised that there would be $192,000 in new tax money from the annex people. And that is what actually our taxes are going to go up. But the city is going to collect, let's see here, $263,900. Now, some people in the city try to tell you, if you ask them about that, they're going to have road tax, the edit tax, and some other taxes that they're going to get. And that's true, they're going to get those taxes. But the real place that $71,000 comes from is that the other parts of our county government are going to lose money. The school's going to lose 30. Mr. Kelly, he sent me an answer to this question. He's the lawyer for the annexation part. He said, let me hear it, right back here it is. The school system will lose $33,600. The county's going to lose $20,700. The township, $13,700. And the township, I don't know if anybody knows it or not, but the township does a lot of good things. They help people that have the need. They might pay a utility bill for them, or they might fix their car if they need a car repaired. The township does a lot of things. They don't have much money anyway. You take another $13,000 away from them, that's going to hurt them even more. The libraries, our county library system, is going to lose $3,700. Sorry, I'm losing I need some liquid in my mouth. But anyway, I don't think this is good for the community. It's not good for the county. It's not good for the city, for these other parts of our government to lose this kind of money. And the last point I want to make, as we all know, Sullivan County is a depressed area. We have the highest unemployment in the state. Now, Clint told us at the last meeting here that he was not interested in big box people, and he's interested in moms and pops. Well, the only big box we got in this town is Walmart. And it helps this town, though, because it gives people a place to go buy goods for a decent price. But the people he's wanting to annex are mom and pop people. You go up the north end of town, the city did nothing to help those people that develop those businesses. Absolutely nothing. You've got what, I'm going to name some of them. We've got the Gathering Place. It's a locally owned and operated place. Kenny Plummer's place where he sells the pipe. We've got the Ford, not Ford, it's the Pig's Implement, used to be Ford. It's been there forever. You've got the sawmill there across the street, Dodge Sawmill. You've got Kern gas station up there. It's been there, when I was a little kid, all those places have been there forever, except there's been a few built new. You've got two places down south of town, the diner down there and the gas station. The gas station hasn't been there that long, the diner has. And these people, with this economy the way it's been, I know that some of them had to struggle the last 3 or 4 years. But they've kept their doors open. I forgot to mention the Napa store. It's also a locally owned and operated place. But all these people have hire people in our community. I know there's a number of jobs that had to be kept by all these businesses that are mom and pop businesses. And the city now wants to tax them 30% more than what they've been paying in taxes. And this, I don't know what it will do to their businesses, but it can't be good. And so I think this committee should think about some of these things. Actually, these things should be talked about prior to starting the vote back in July. I asked the committee not to vote that night to start it and get with some people in the community to get some more ideas. And you guys were right on voting. Haven't talked to anyone in the community. But that's all I've got to say. I'm going to ask the council, though, to think about these things and do what's right for the community, not just the city of Sullivan, and vote against this. Thank you very much.
I'm Ron Williamson from Robinson, Illinois. I own the USDA building out there. I'm also on the county board in Crawford County, so I'm familiar with a little bit of things that you people is going through. I'd like to mention a couple of things that I don't know where some of you thought of. And I'll say Illinois because I don't know how it's done in Indiana. It's your sales tax on the businesses. And Illinois is divided up. If outside the city, the county gets 1.5% and the city gets 1/4. And recently they annexed 4 businesses into Robinson. It turned it around. The county gets 1/4 and the city gets the 1.5. It cost the county $300,000 and we had to come up with some extra money because our budget was in the red. So I don't know how it works here in Indiana, but you might think about that. On the county, I was on the commission for contract with police officers. I understood someone called me up and said they was going to hire more police officers. Well, it costs a lot of money to hire a police officer. We figured $130,000 per officer by the time they pay him his wages, his retirement, sick leave, and all the other costs there, $130,000. If you consider the whole department and everything else, we figured $180,000. And you figure overtime, if he takes off sick, you got to replace him with another person. There's a lot of money, time you know. And if his figure is right, $192,000, hire one police officer, most of that's gone. In Illinois, I say Illinois, yes, one of them, there's my wife gets mad at me every time I do it. But over in Illinois, when the city annexes something in, they have to supply all the services. How many people out here live in these annex areas have sewers? One? I'm on a septic tank out there through SDA building. If they annex us in, are they going to give us sewer? How much does the pumping station cost and all the sewer lines and stuff? You got to consider that. Road repair, I heard that they told them everybody was going to clear your streets and everything else. In Illinois, again, I don't know how it works in Indiana. In Illinois, inside the city, they can't touch the property or the road unless they own it. I put in several blocks of roads over in Robinson. I left out about a half a block. In the wintertime, they would not clean that half block. They would come down the street, raise their plow, go across my road, and continue on the city streets. Until I actually deeded that road to the city, they wouldn't repair it or clear the snow. So I just thought I'd bring a few things up. I'm not really for it, against it, I guess. But it will cost all of us money, including me. So thank you very much.
What business did he own? Where was he at?
USDA building, across from
Okay,
Pig.
Yes, Mr.
My name is Jane Fish. I live at 2067 North Section Street. I was highly offended about an article in the paper that we're not paying our share. We own 2 and a portion of another fire truck that the city of Sullivan uses. I have paid my entire life. There's nothing free, and if you believe that we're not paying our part, then you better think again. I'm going to have to pay, you can answer this question later, I had 3 points. I have farm ground on my land. Am I going to have to pay city taxes on farm ground? Also, North American Latex was built by Jack Stewart. The company that he worked for left the country. That man put his blood, sweat, and tears in there, and he's not been given a darn thing. They pay for their sewer, all of this. And if we're not paying our share, then maybe you better up it. But we have a sheriff's department, and as I said, we pay for fire. And that's all I wanted to say. And I am highly offended that everybody thinks the people in the county aren't paying our share. If they get the figures and look at it, we are paying. Thank you.
My name's David Unger. I own a duplex rental property, 71 and 73 Northwood Drive. I just want everybody to realize that any property that's in this area that's rental property, that means the people that are renting it's going to go, the rent's going to have to go up. Now, some of you people may own your property. I have payments on my property. I'm a young guy. My property, my taxes on each 2 units is going to go up $500 per unit. So that means that's $40 a month, and I'm going to have to raise their rent. Now, some of these people are renting property, that's because they can't afford to buy property. Or some of them are on fixed incomes. So you can't, I realize if it was a homeowner, it wouldn't go up quite as much. But being rental property, it goes up twice as much. Also, you realize all the people that are in the apartments up there on Northwood Drive, the other direction there's several people there that their rent's going to have to go up. If their taxes are going up, their rent's going to have to go up, because those companies, they can't eat that difference. There's no way I can eat $500 per unit. My taxes go up every year, my insurance goes up every year, everything goes up, and my maintenance, the buildings are getting older, everything's going up. Also, you need to realize that here we are with these companies that are up there in that area, are just now getting maybe back on their feet after the really tight economy we've had. They're just now getting their feet back on the ground a little bit because things seem to be turning around a little bit, and now you're going to hit them with a big tax. One of the reasons those companies built where they did, and that's just like my rental property. The reason I bought that property, and the reason it's the value it is because where it's located. Admitted it, it's close to town, that's what people want. But that property would not be worth as much money if it was on a city street. It would not be as valued as high. So consequently, my taxes are already high because of where it's located. And that's the same thing with these. You want your industrial park to look like you're downtown with all these closed buildings? That's what's going to happen if you raise their taxes and everything keeps going up so much. They're not going to be able to keep up. And that just means we're going to lose jobs. So you got to look at the whole picture. I realize Sullivan needs money. I understand that's a problem. We need to figure that out. And maybe, I've got 2 other businesses. I've got 2 businesses in town. And if you can show me where my taxes are going to go down over $1,000 on my 2 businesses, then I would say maybe that makes sense. But as far as when I talk to people, and everybody I talked to said that my business property in town taxes will not go down. One building I'm paying almost $7,000 on, and you're telling me, it's not going to go down. It's already too high. You can't, I don't see the benefit. That's all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Kenneth Plummer, 2437 North Section. I own and operate D&K Enterprise north of town in Valley Dock. 27 years. I operated a business on the east side of town for 27 years, and I fought with the city for 27 years. They would not pick up trash cans behind my business because they said, you own a business. And I said, it's trash out of people's cars. Don't pick up my fenders, my wheels, anything else. Just pick up the trash that I take out of people's cars. I had 5 to 8 guys working for me, 27 years. I got sick of them. I left the city. I went north of town. I bought a woods. I cleared the woods. I built the business. Unfortunately, it burned down. I bought it from the partners. I built another business. And Mr. Land here says that I've never paid my fair share. Well, let me tell you, I went to the county and I said, I'm going to build a business north of town. It's It's a state access road to go to Don Lynch's property and mine. Can you help me build a road? I want to build a business. Well, we don't have the money. What do you mean you don't have the money? You want to build a business. You're going to tax me. We don't have the money to help you with the road. I said, are you serious? No, we don't have the money. Ken Plummer built the road, Mr. Lamb. I'll tell you that. I said, can you help me keep it up? I'm sorry, guys, we don't have the money. You really? You can't keep it up? Now we got 15 guys employed. So, you know when they keep it up? They build a dog pound across from me. Now they keep it up. They put one load of white rock on it. I've been there 23 years, paid taxes. I put the sewer in. I paid to put the water in. I paid $8,000 to have electricity to cross the road so that I did not pay my fair share. That's it.
Brandon Stewart, I'm with North American Latex, 49 Industrial Park Drive. Referring back to the residents of Hamilton Township not paying their fair share, the payments are $60,000 a year, as Mr. Lane said. But what was not said was the extra funds that the Hamilton Township has provided for the City of Sullivan Fire Department. From $25,000 in equipment for different apparatuses to $4,800 for a pickup to $33,000 for a brush truck, Jaws of Life, logos, $24,000 in uniforms. They have paid, and since 2005, $517,850.75. Along with that, of the 2 fire trucks that they have ownership of, they also have paid a portion of a $600,000 ladder truck that was purchased in 1995. They paid 72% of that. The city paid 28%. In the last 6 months, there's 544 fire runs from this fire department. 72% of those were in the city of Sullivan. Only 28% of those were in Hamilton Township. We paid our fair share. Don't use that for the excuse. Thank you.
My name is Randy Pigg. I have a business up on North Section Street. My family has been part of a business up there for going on 55 years. In Sullivan County, at one time there were 6 farm equipment dealers. Today, there's 1. We've been able to survive. It's a hard business. You have to pay your dues. You know, this country, as well as this county, is on some hard economic times. We just suffered this year one of the most major droughts in U.S. history. This county is hurt tremendously, where we saw yields in past years of 180 to 200 bushel. This year, my farm averaged 43 bushel, and I wasn't the only one. You have to realize that farmers spend money locally, and if the money is not there, let me tell you why. They're not going to spend it with the businesses in this community. It's just plain economics. One of the things about our business is that we are a corporation, and a corporation has some benefits, but also one of the parts about being a corporation is it has a high tax rate. 33 to 35% is what our corporate tax rate is. If you've heard the campaigns talk lately, it's one of the highest in the world. Additionally, another tax burden is not needed at this time. It is just something that is not going to fit the economic conditions of this county and these businesses. You know, if America can dig itself out of the economic times that we have right now, and the highest unemployment that we have in history, if they can dig themselves out of that, maybe this thing could be back and revisited. I understand their dilemma, but they have to understand our dilemma as well. Amen. You know, when they built the elementary schools up here, the school board did one thing that I thought really impacted this community. They created a focus group. In this focus group, there were people that were for the school, and there were people that were against that. But what it did, I brought a cross-section of people together. They discussed their ideas, and they came up with a solution. There has never been any mention of trying to get community involvement and trying to figure out how to solve their tax burden. We have to work together. And I understand that sometimes one person's going to be on one side of the fence and the other. That the timing, honestly, is just wrong. And finally, I believe that businesses should not be singled out to pay a major portion of the tax burden that they're talking about. You know, I understand businesses are here to serve the community, but they also have to make money. You have to realize this is not an Indianapolis, this is not a Terre Haute, this is a farming community. And we are totally all middle class. It's a time where America needs to pick up its feet and solve some problems. But right now, to have an extra tax burden, as many political campaigns are talking, we don't need it. It's not going to happen. This issue should result in a no vote.
Mr. Booker.
I'm not very good at speaking, but I've got a few things that upset. Number one, the gentleman that gave a speech about the city of Sullivan. My dad and I have lived here all my life. My dad built up the north end of town without any help from anybody. He put a bulldozer in there and leveled off 13 acres. They were hills and hollows. He couldn't use them for anything. This was back in 1951. He got it all leveled off and he started building buildings. After he got 4 or 5 buildings happen, the city come along and said, "Oh, we got to have this." Dad said to him, says, "Well, just take where the buildings are." The buildings were within 150 feet of the highway, and back of it was bean fields. Okay? But they took 660 feet. Now what they done with it in the last 50 years, it's been the city. They're supposed to put a fire hydrant every 300 feet. I've got a half mile of highway. I've got 2 fire hydrants. I got that about 1964. The whole north end of Sullivan didn't even have sewers until 64. They paid taxes for all their lives. Now we've got 34 acres in the city, and it went in 1957, I think, give or take a year. And you know what they've done for me? They've raised my taxes. The mayor put a piece of paper here the other day that people weren't paying their share. Well, I happen to know that the city gets money from Hamilton Township for fire protection. Now, they say it ain't enough, but who voted for it? People right there. Now, as far as they want to take 150 acres of my ground. That's just bare farm ground, with the exception of 2 houses. And it's got a 25-acre lake on it. It's not much water in it now, but it's a 25-acre lake. Now, I don't know. I'd like for somebody on the city council to tell me how in the world that they need that for the city. Then, the Hamilton boy has got 100 acres with 1 house on it. And his house sits half a mile off the road. And I'd like for him to tell me what they want with it, except for taxes. Would any of you like to tell me?
I voted no the first time.
Do me or anybody else. Anybody want to tell me? How about you, Mayor?
You know where I stand, Mr. Booker.
Huh?
You know where I stand, Mr. Booker.
Well, you're for it. I knew that. But I want you to tell me why.
I made myself very clear.
Well, okay, I never, what was the reason?
Once again, this isn't to get into a debate. We're going to hear you out. I've offered to hear you out a million times. Anytime you've seen me 20 times on the road, you've been to City Hall, well, I've been there 50 times. A public spectacle is one thing, but if you really want to sit down...
Am I making a spectacle of myself? I'm just telling the truth. Okay.
Next. Sir.
My name's Joe Booker. I live at 1104 North Second Street. I come up here.
That's too loud.
I just come up here to say my piece. I don't want you guys telling me what I can and can't do on my farm. I don't want to give you any more money. I'd like to see you do something without having to dig in everybody's pocket. I'm good.
Anybody else? Okay. You want to, you have something to say?
Anybody else want to speak on the north and west annexation? Because if not, you can close that public hearing and then open the public hearing on the south annexation, which is 2012-4.
Okay, we officially closed public hearing for
My name's John Ham. I live at 412 West Creek, right across from the elementary building. The other day, and this happens every day. My wife worked 20 minutes away. There were 96 cars passing in front of my house on that street. What are you going to do with that road? Thank you.
Okay, we will officially close the public hearing on the annexation northwest hearing. And we'll officially now open the annexation second public hearing on the southern annexation. Officially open for comment.
My name is Jeff Walmsley. I live at 617 North Section here in Sullivan. I'm a co-owner of the Catty Corner Diner. I think you guys heard of that once or twice. Been there for a long time. I tell you, we're down there on State Road 54 and the old 41. The city doesn't come down that far. The state of Indiana maintains the road, maintains the intersection, maintains everything. So we can't see where we're benefiting a bit down there with any taxes, or any paying for any kind of share taxes. We pay a lot of taxes. We employ 8 employees. I don't think we could handle a lot more taxes on any burden. I don't think anybody in here can. I think times are tough. I think you got a good thing going. You're wanting to get it going. I understand why you're wanting to do it for money and funds. Everybody knows the city's hurting in places. But it's a bad timing, gentlemen, ladies. Bad timing for everybody. Bad timing for yourselves, for the city. It's bad timing for all businesses. Anybody else that has rentals or et cetera. So I'm speaking for ourselves down there at the diner. We're opposed to it. We don't want it. Thank you.
William Landis, 1246 West Canyon Road, 500 North Sullivan. I have a property on Missouri Street, and part of the house, a good portion of the house is already in the city. I have city sewer, city trash pickup. The police, of course, patrol that area. So I have no benefits from this annexation. The back portion of my lot has been annexed, and for that I'm being charged another $333 a year for no obvious benefit to myself other than paying more taxes. There's farm fields adjacent to us, and behind us I think a couple of businesses that own some derelict property, but as far as helping us, I don't see how it's going to improve. My daughter lives in that property. I don't see how it's going to help her or myself. So
Thank you, Bob. Yes.
Anybody else that would like to discuss? This is your last chance to discuss on the annexation. Anybody?
I just heard about this tonight, so I have no information on it. I just want to know, is there I understand the whole concept of, sorry, my name's Eli Trips, 539 East Washington. I understand you must grow to grow. I understand that. But you're jacking a large chunk of land. Is there a plan? Is there a timeline? We're going to get this land, we're going to do this with it, we're going to see a return on our investment here. Is there a plan for that? I mean, I think anybody in town would be more than happy to suck it up for a couple of years to turn to burn. I understand that, but is there a plan?
Anybody else? Okay, then we will officially close the public hearing, Southern Annexation.
And then, as I said earlier, the next time that you can do anything at all with these ordinances would be at least 30 days after the night. So there is no vote to be taken tonight. Tonight was just purely to hear from the public, and we certainly appreciate you coming out tonight.
Okay, and we're going to move into our regular council session, so you're all more welcome to stay and be a part of the city council session, but we'll be here from our department heads and things like that, but outside of annexation, free to. Thank you.